Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to another weekend live edition of Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Um, we're gonna have a very, very, very exciting show for you all tonight. So get your popcorn ready, get your favorite drink ready, and get settled in. Get settled in because we're gonna be going in tonight, talking about the moon, and how each and every one of us can be our own personal weather forecaster for our emotions. Alrighty, so I'm gonna do what I normally do, y'all. I'm gonna play a little bit of music and while we wait for some people to come in. So thank you again if you're watching this video on demand. I am author and storyteller Matt D. Talford, and you're watching Maddie's Rap Live. Okay, and if you are a returning subscriber, you already know how I feel about you, so you know the drill. Give me just a moment, family. Let me get everything set up here, and we are going to have an exciting show for you all tonight. Thank you again for joining. I've got an exciting topic for you guys tonight. Actually, I'm more excited about the bonus, believe it or not, because I've got a special guest that's going to be joining us tonight, and you guys are going to want to hear what she has to say. So let me get a slide in here just a moment, and we're going to be getting started. Let me get some music queued up, and we're going to take a break and come right back. Give me just a moment, family. What's up there, Hot Shot? What's up? Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here tonight. Got an exciting show for you guys tonight. All right, I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to step away for just a moment and let you guys get settled in, and we'll be right back. Okay. What's up, Karen, Mistress Forgiveness, y'all? What's up, family? We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to step away for just a moment and be right back. Glad to have y'all here with me tonight. Happy to have you guys here. You watching Maddie's Rap? Why is my screen share not sharing? All right, family, I'm going to kill the, hang on just a minute. I'm going to kill the music. Got some technical difficulties here. Stand by. All right, well, I guess we're jumping right in. I want to take a break. I need to step away, y'all. Give me one moment. I'm going to turn the music back on. I wanted to put my slide up there that says this live stream will begin momentarily, but I'm having some technical difficulties. So give me just a moment because I need to refill my water. I'll be right back, family. Let me give y'all some more music. Hang on, y'all. Because I know y'all don't want to just sit and hear some, you know. Things happen. You know how it goes. All right, stand by. I'll be right back, family. All right, family, we're back on. Had some technical difficulties there, but let's see who we got in the chat tonight. Bernadette. Hey, Bernadette, did you get my invite? If you did, you can watch. You can, when I get ready to bring you in, you can click it and join. I just gave it away, y'all. I just gave it away. Bernadette's our special guest for tonight. But before we get started and get her brought in, I want to check the comments here. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing on this Friday evening? 5 days after the inauguration. Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm about to open it. Okay, cool. All right. How's everybody doing with the energies that are hitting the planet right now? Right. Like we got some major astrological events about to happen with this planetary alignment. And a lot of people are feeling the energy right now. A lot of you may be feeling tired. A lot of you may be, going through some emotional stuff. I mean, look, we still have that Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. And let me tell y'all, whoo, them retrogrades, family, them retrogrades bring up some old energy that needs to get dealt with. Let me tell you. But they are cleansing. They're cleansing and they are so necessary. The retrogrades are just another example that sometimes you got to move backwards to move forward. And that's exactly what the retrogrades are. They are designed. Retrogrades are all about divine timing. They're about divine timing as well. So you got a Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. You got the moon, which we'll be talking about. The moon doesn't stop. We're going to be talking about that tonight. All right. I don't have any slides I'll be sharing or anything because I want to kind of move through this and bring my guest up. So I'm not going to go through all of the houses. I'm not going to do a house by house, line by line. This is what you can expect. We like to save those for the new moon and the full moon videos. So I won't be doing that tonight, but I'm definitely going to give you guys a map, okay? A guidebook, if you will, on how to use your natal chart in conjunction with moon tracking apps to forecast what you might be able to expect with regards to perhaps your emotions, with regards to dealing and interacting with other individuals. Okay. So this is going to be one of those videos that I hope that you guys, and every time I do a live stream of Maddie's Rap, I'm hoping that you guys are getting something out of it that you can use because we're in a season of ascension. Okay. We're upgrading now. We're upgrading. We're shedding old skins. We're shedding old thought patterns. We're shedding old ways of doing things and coming into alignment with our higher selves. For those of you that have watched me for the last 4 years and been a part of my ascension journey, first of all, I want to say thank you to you. You guys, I know that you all have been on your own ascension paths and your own ascension journeys. And shout out to anybody watching this that's out there doing it in front of an audience. It's not always easy to be transparent in front of an audience because, you're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there. You're opening yourself up to be judged, even though we really shouldn't be judging anybody, but we open ourselves up to be judged. And I'm not demonizing anybody or anything like that. We all do it, right? All of us at one point or another in our lives have either inadvertently judged someone or been intentional about it or downright been mean sometimes. So everybody does it, but it's all a part of why we come here to what I like to call the gym. Some people call Earth school. I like to call Earth the gym. You come to the gym to get stronger. You come to the gym to train your muscles and to train your body to be more flexible and to get faster. We do that. We come to this earth, to this life, to do the exact same thing for our souls, okay? For the soul, because we are the soul. I shouldn't say for our souls as though we're a body that contains a soul. We're the soul that has the body. That's how that works, okay? So the whole purpose of our being here is to fulfill some divine purpose and ideally bring our lower selves into alignment with our higher selves, heal any unhealed wounds that we may have brought from past lifetimes or early on or whatever, and learn any lessons that we signed up to come here to learn. And then enjoy this thing, y'all. Life ain't supposed to be so heavy. It ain't supposed to be heavy. You're not supposed to be born into heaviness, deal with heaviness your whole life, and then die of heavy spirit. No, come here, get your work done, get it done as quickly and efficiently as possible, and then have some fun while you're in this body, right? All right. So let me read some comments here, y'all, and then I'm gonna get started. We got Karen in the house. What's up, Karen? We got Hot Shot in the house. We got Mistress Forgiveness in the house. All right. Bernadette, Karen, okay. Hot shot. She said, I've been super sluggish. However, once I get up and get into the gym, I'll go full throttle. It's getting out of my bed every morning. That's the challenge. You know what? And it's that time of year too, hot shot. It's that time of year. It's a little bit tougher in the wintertime because it's cold outside. And hot shot, listen, I don't know where everybody's from, but if you down in Florida, y'all got hammered with some snow. So I know you ain't used to them cold temperatures if you're down in Florida. So it's all kind of crazy stuff going on right now. But yeah, listen, shout out to your hot shot for doing it because you still got up and did it. It's been a challenge for me too, but I'll get in where I fit in, and I've been getting mine done too. One of the things I've switched up and done this year is I put more focus on calisthenics, a little bit less on the actual free weights, a little bit less on the machines, and more on calisthenics and doing those body weight exercises and doing the stretching and the yoga. Those are the gifts that keep on giving. What's up, Tora girl? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So now let me check. Let's see. Let me read my copy. I like to read the copy that I put in the description box. So let's get started there. And if y'all see the hands a little ashy, y'all don't judge. I try to keep them as moist as I can, but having been an Army medic and having worked in an emergency room for 4 years, washing my hands all the time is just habit for me. And this is a tough time of year because you're washing the oil out of your skin. So I try to keep it as hydrated as possible and try to keep it as moisturized as possible. But sometimes, I don't carry it with me or whatever. So, hey, yeah, y'all, if y'all are free to donate to the cocoa butter or the shea butter or whatever. I use some different oils I use sometimes on my skin too. If my hands are offending you tonight, but hopefully they're not. Now, so the moon is a celestial body, aka an ordinance, as is described in scripture. That is the energy that rules over our emotions. And whether or not an individual believes in astrology, because I still get this, believe it or not, y'all, for as long as I've been doing this, I still get the crowd that comes through. By the way, y'all, if you haven't done so already, please tap that like button on your way in, because that's going to trigger the algorithm to let more people know that we are in the house and we're live, because this is one of those videos that I think is going to help anybody that watches it. So if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. Okay. Now, back to the moon. I still get people saying, "Oh man, I don't believe in this." Listen, you can believe in what you want. You can believe it's hot outside when the thermometer, when the wet bulb says it's 20 below. All right, believe what you want to believe. It doesn't change anything. Okay, what is, and what will be. All right, and what was. So sometimes you got to leave the was in the was. You know what I mean? So anyway, now, so whether or not an individual believes in astrology, it doesn't matter. These celestial bodies govern different energies on the planet. And listen, each and every one of us has those energies, those same energies in our bodies. So we're affected by the greater governing bodies, which are these stars, these wandering stars called planets, these fixed constellations, and the ever-changing moon, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So in this live stream tonight, family, we'll be discussing how understanding the different moon phases and transits can help anyone and everyone navigate through different areas and phases of life based upon that individual's natal chart. Okay. All right. And of course, this is not intended to be a deep dive. I'm not going to go through all 12 of the astrological houses this time, but this is rather to serve as a guide for understanding how the moon affects us. So, of course, because this really, if you want to do it the right way, you have to look at your houses. Now, are there interactions with regards to the planets if the moon is in a certain sign? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because those planets govern over other areas of our lives, and the moon rules over the emotions. Okay. It's connected to the heart chakra. The heart chakra arguably is the biggest energy producing chakra in our bodies. Okay. So you will need to know what your houses are. If you've never looked up your natal chart and you want to know what signs you have in what houses, you will need to know what time you were born. Okay. That is what's required. Time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth. Those are absolute requirements for knowing what your rising sign is and what all the other houses are. Okay. If you don't know that stuff, then you'll know your planets, but this is going to be more for, because here's the deal. For example, I don't have any planets in Pisces. Okay. I have no planets in Pisces, but I have a house that Pisces occupies. That's kind of how that works. And this is why you want to know your house placement, because everybody doesn't have every sign in all their planets. A lot of the signs duplicate. For example, my Mercury and Venus are both in Sagittarius. So that's just to give you one example. But for whatever sign, I don't have any planets in Leo. Okay. But I got Leo sitting in one of the houses. This is how that works. So if you've never done it before, find out what time you were born. Okay. Get that exact time. Don't say, I get a lot of people say, I think I was born at night. Okay. There's how many hours and minutes in the nighttime. All right. The house signs change every 2 hours. Okay. And even within those 2 hours, they're changing degrees. All of that is important. Okay. It moves like a second hand, minute hand, hour hand. That's kind of how the cosmos works. So enough of that. Let's get on to it. Understanding the link between the moon phases and your natal chart, and how understanding these things can help you to navigate life. Let me begin by sharing a hypothetical. Let's call this hypothetical. All right. Because this is what actually drove me to do this video. Okay. I'm going to say a hypothetical because, sometimes you change the details to, as they say, protect the innocent. So I'm going to give you a hypothetical. 2 days ago, it was Wednesday, January the 22nd. Okay. Wednesday, January 22nd. The moon was in Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio moon. Anybody that knows astrology knows that Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio is probably the most intense moon sign. The moon is not comfortable in the sign of Scorpio. Okay. That's just how it is. That's how it's always been. The Scorpio moon is considered a debilitated position. On the flip side, the Taurus moon is considered an exalted position. And I'm going to do another live in a couple of days where I'm talking about debilitated planets, because you guys are going to want to know about that. I personally think that is a misnomer of sorts. And I'll get into that on Sunday. I've already got the live queued up. Okay. That was supposed to go down a couple of days ago. Y'all saw the announcement, and then you saw me come back and say, hey, we're not going to be doing that on this evening. So a lot of that had to deal with the moon phase. So one thing Matthew always does is I always take a step back and ask the question, why did this thing happen? Why did that thing happen? Because with every what, there's a connected why. And that's how I live my life. The why helps us to understand. Proverbs, the 4th chapter says, in all thy getting, get understanding. If you don't understand, lack of understanding leads to judgment. Let me say that. Lack of understanding oftentimes leads to unfair and harsh judgment. So in all thy getting, get understanding. That's Proverbs chapter 4. I'm not going to bring that up tonight. Okay. You guys can read that on your own. In all thy getting, get understanding. So Matthew always likes to take a step back and say, why did that happen? Just like the overall, why did I react in that particular way? Why do I think this person reacted in that particular way? Why do I think this situation befell me? Why was I 15 minutes late leaving the house when I was ready to go? And yet I'm hanging around and I'm 15 minutes late. And then you get on the road and you see that there's a car accident. And you're like, maybe that 15-minute delay was so that I was not involved in that accident, or so that I did not see it. With every what, there's a connected why. There's a reason for everything. So when we get away from the what and start trying to connect the what to the why, it always is going to give us understanding. So that is how I live my life. I'm not telling you how to live yours, but I'm telling you it helps when you get understanding. So getting back to Wednesday, I wanted to go live, and now in retrospect, I realized that the energy present on the planet, the emotional energy, did not align with what I was going to be delivering. So I pushed it back. But now in the grand scheme of things, I realized that had I not pushed that intended live stream back, I would not be sitting here with you guys doing a video talking about how understanding the link between the moon phases and the natal chart can help you navigate your life. I didn't understand any of that until I understood it, which didn't happen until first of all, I was tired. Okay. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the energy hitting the planet. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you think that if you've been experiencing, hey, I'm getting into bed early and I'm still waking up tired. A lot of that's the energies hitting the planet. A lot of it is DNA upgrades. All right. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's what the powers that used to be did not want you to know. The powers that used to be wanted you to go on believing your entire life that the Most High, the Creator, the universal I am presence, created junk DNA. Not happen. Did not happen. Did not happen. Everything in creation has a purpose. Everything in creation has a purpose. So if you have 12 strands of DNA and 2 of them are active, the other 10 are just inactive. They're turned off for some reason. Those are in the process of being turned back on. And that is a scary proposition for the powers that used to be. Because guess what? You can't control a superhuman. I'm going to say that again because I know some of y'all powers that used to be watch me. You cannot control a superhuman. Your time is up. I've been saying for the last year and some change that the certain ruling or rulership on this planet has got to sit down. It's in that season. So some of these people that you're used to seeing running the planet, that have been running the planet for the last 2,000 years, they're not going to be running the planet anymore. That's a scary proposition. Y'all know who's at the top of the food chain, who's been at the top of the food chain in every industry, legal, banking, finance, business, all of this, okay? Y'all know their time is up. And that is scaring the rhymes with spit out of them, okay? It's scaring them. But it is what it is. Everything has a season. We talked about that in my last live when we read Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. Okay, so getting back to bring this thing back around, y'all know I like to drive you around the block to get you to the house next door. To bring this thing back around, if I go ahead with that live on Wednesday, I'm not doing this. But the energies hitting the planet, plus that intense moon in Scorpio, some things, let's say hypothetically, I got angry at a tennis match because I didn't like the way that the flow of the match was going. And I didn't like the gamesmanship, because y'all know that happens in tennis a lot. For those of y'all that play, any kind of sport or any type of competitive type of competition, you know the gamesmanship is in there. And I ain't talking about trash talk, because I can trash talk with the best of them. I'm talking about the little gamesmanship to try to get a person out of their game using tactics that are really not a part of the game. That's gamesmanship. So let's say hypothetically, Matt got upset and took one of his prized tennis rackets and smashed it on the court. I've done that in my time, y'all. Not something I'm proud of, especially when you spent over $200 for a tennis racket, but I've done it in my time. Y'all have seen some of the pros do it, okay? Pros got a lot more money to buy tennis rackets than Matt does, okay? All right. When you going 4 rounds deep into a Grand Slam tennis tournament and the prize purse is now up to 6 figures, all right? And if you keep going to the championship round, that's a 7-figure purse. I'm not at that skill level. Okay. So anyway, when I ran that back, I said to myself, what was the moon in? I went back and looked at it. I said, what sign was the moon in when I hypothetically got mad at that tennis match on Wednesday? Oh, the moon was in Scorpio. The moon was in Scorpio. Well, let me see. Let me look at my chart and see where I have Scorpio on my chart. Oh, I have Scorpio sitting in my 2nd house of things that we value and our possessions. Okay. So now the moon was in Scorpio, but was it a waxing moon or a waning moon? Waxing goes up, waning goes down. Waxing, the illumination comes into the moon and it waxes until boom, it hits the full moon cycle. What have I been saying for the last couple of months on this channel? A lot of people, a lot of astrological teachers and coaches and people that practice reading charts and stuff like that have been saying it wrong for have been saying it wrong probably for for as long as they've known astrology, the math of astrology's math. Okay, for as long as they've known the mathematics of astrology, they've regurgitated what has been taught to them by the teachers that taught them, that said the full moon is the time for releasing. And yet Matt, who nobody knows, basically at the time nobody knew, I'm not going to speak something into existence that I don't want to be, the guy that nobody knew that everybody now knows. Let me say that right. Let me put it in its proper context. The guy that nobody knew that everybody now knows comes along and goes against the status quo and says, the full moon is not about releasing. It is about giving gratitude for the birth of some new energy in our life. In the same way that a full womb is ready for a baby to be delivered. Nobody says, I'm getting ready to go release this child. No, they say, I'm getting ready to bring this child into the world. And then what did that do? That created a mindset shift whereby a lot of people have been hitting me up now saying, Matt, thank you for dropping it like that. Now I'm getting these results I'm getting have been mind blowing. Okay. So what happens after the full moon cycle? The moon starts to lose light gradually, gradually, gradually. So that is the waning moon. That is the light leaving. Okay. Illumination happens up to 100%. And then de-illumination happens all the way down to 0% where we hit that new moon. So when that energy is building up during the waxing moon phases, you got this build up. It's like the emotions build, they build, they build, they build. Okay. You got high vibrational stuff happening. When the release time happens after the full moon cycle is ended, and we're now in that waning moon heading down to the third quarter moon, and then from the third quarter moon heading down to the new moon, these things start to subside. The illumination starts to go down. What happens when we have less light at night? It's a little bit tougher to see. All right. It's a little bit tougher to see. Things are a little bit darker. You have to focus more in the dark. Okay. So when we understand these moon cycles and when we understand that the wave goes up and then the wave comes back down, think of the moon cycles as a wave. The wave goes up, it crests, and then it goes back down. That's the full moon. The crest is the full moon. Okay. The bottom, the trough of the wave is the new moon. It is the emptying of the energy of the wave and the beginning for new energy to build up. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about how understanding these different moon phases and aligning it with our natal charts can help us to navigate life. Now, why you bring this up, Matt? Because if hypothetical Matthew on his hypothetical tennis court that hypothetically smashes his tennis racket out of anger understands that the moon is in Scorpio and it's a waning moon, okay, so it is a time of loss. The waning moon is about a time of loss. That is about releasing. So if he understands that, then he's able to say, hey, let us stay away. If the moon cycle is in Scorpio and the Scorpio moon energy is intense, perhaps I should stay away from intense competition, if you will, that could intensify the emotions and cause Matthew to lose something of value. Why? Because he has Scorpio sitting in his second house of values. So what happens? Matthew hypothetically loses an expensive tennis racket, or don't even worry about the expense because rackets depreciate. And this is all hypothetical. Matthew hypothetically loses a racket he enjoyed playing with. Why? Because he did not understand where and how his emotions would line up with the current moon sign and phase. Maybe that looks different if it is a waxing moon in the sign of Scorpio. Maybe that looks different. Okay? Maybe that looks different. But it's a waning moon. It's a waning moon. So what happens is now Matthew hypothetically has to go out and buy another tennis racket. Okay? So, but if he understood that, he could have looked at, and you guys could do it differently. You can do it when you first wake up in the morning. You can do it in the evening before you go to bed. But I'm going to bring up that lunar ingress. Now, there's also an app that I have on my iPhone called Moon Tracker, and it tells me what the current moon phase is. I can skip ahead on the calendar and see what the moon is going to be in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. Okay, so get something that allows you to track the moon signs and where the moon is going to be, what phase is going to be in at different times during the month, and align that with your natal chart and figure out where does that energy, where does that moon line up with, or which house does that moon line up with in your natal chart. For example, one reason why I wanted to make sure I came live tonight is because, again, we're in a waning moon, so the energy starts to go down, but the moon is currently in Sagittarius. Let me bring it up, y'all. Hang on a second. Thank you all for being here. And I'm going to read some comments and give you guys the treat here in just a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Lunar. Let's see. Moon tracks. Let's see. Lunar ingress. All right. Let me bring this up on the screen and share it. If it'll share, y'all. That my last thing didn't share. I'm not sure why it didn't. Hang on one second here. Let's do this. And Tora Girl said, "What app is it? It's called Moon. I think it's called Moon Phase. Hang on, I got it on my iPhone here. One second. It's called Moon Phase. It's a free app. Okay. All right. So let me see. It's in the App Store. All right. So let me see if this is gonna let me share this thing now because it was tripping a minute ago. All right. Let me see if this is on the screen. Y'all, I do not know what's going on with my why this is not allowing me to share. Huh. I don't know why it's not allowing me to share. No, it's not showing up. And that is odd because let me check one thing here. No virtual background. All right, so I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, it's not behaving tonight. So hopefully that doesn't give me a problem when I try to bring my guest up. I hope it doesn't give me a problem. Um, let's see what we got going on here. All right, so it's not. I don't know what's going on with my sharing here, family. Let's see. Let me look at one thing here. Nope. Okay, that's not going to do it. Let me see if I can save this as a PDF. Give me 1 second, y'all. Nothing beats a failure but a try, as my dad says. Huh. Give me 1 second. I've never had this happen. Let me try this and see if it works. Okay. All right. I might have to do it that way. Okay. I may have to do it that way. All right. Let me stop. Let me stop screen. All right. Now let me see if I can get it to go now. Y'all, again, I apologize for the real time troubleshooting. Nope. That's still not working. Okay. So I'll have to do it the other way. All right. So let me bring this up. I'll just bring it up in another tab. Here we go. Appreciate you guys' patience. This is something different. I don't expect this will happen the next time I need to do this, but let's see. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this. All right. Can you guys see that? I think you guys would be okay. Tora Girl said, so Matt, would we be able to find out based on our natal chart when it's a good time to take a test? You know what? I would say yes to that, Tora Girl. And I was just about to get into that. So I would say yes to that. Absolutely. Okay, and I got a yes from Bernadette showing me that you guys can see this. So good. All right. So as we can see, today's date is January the 24th, and the moon is in Sagittarius. Okay. Now, this is a great web page. I'm going to copy this and put it in the chat. Free. It's for the low price of free 99. Okay. So you guys can bookmark that. And that is another way to see what the current moon sign is. Now, it's not going to tell you the phase. But you can just kind of use the eye test. You know, if we've left a full moon, if it was a full moon last week, you know you're in the waning phase, okay? If it was a new moon last week and you're starting to see the sliver and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it's the waxing phase, okay? So the energy is building. Now, as you can see here, the moon is currently in the sign of Sagittarius, okay? As I was explaining to you guys before, the moon was in the sign of Scorpio. Intense moon energy. Now, let me stop the screen and explain to you why, and this will answer your question, Tor Girl. When I looked at the reason why I decided that tonight would be a good time to go live, regardless of how I felt, is that the moon is in Sagittarius. So I look at my chart. What house do I have Sagittarius in? I've got Sagittarius sitting in my third house. The third house is the house of communication. It's the house of learning. It's the house of information as well. So I'm like, okay, let me push through the waning energy and take advantage of this moon in Sagittarius to present this information to you guys. So that is how I knew tonight will be a good time to do it. All right. So that's kind of how that works. And with the moon being in Capricorn, the next moon phase is going to move from Sagittarius to Capricorn. You got to look at what house you got Capricorn in. For me, I got Capricorn in my fourth house, okay, of home and family. We also are under this is where you got to kind of do the math a little bit with astrology. We're under a Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of home and family. Mars is the energy of action, aggression, conflict, all of that stuff. So with it being a retrograde, it's a time to reflect and redo. So with the moon being in Capricorn, and I have Capricorn in my fourth house, and we're and that Capricorn and Cancer sit on the same axis opposing each other, Matt is going to chill. Why? Because I know now that the moon does control the emotions, and you want to line up. Listen, I know that we're under a Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the constellation that rules over the fourth house. Okay, the moon rules over the fourth house because it rules over Cancer. That's kind of how that works. The moon is the planetary ruler of the fourth house. Cancer is the sign ruler of the fourth house. I happen to be a moon in Cancer. The moon's going to be in Capricorn, opposing Cancer, which is also the sign that Mars is sitting in retrograde, and Mars is the energy of conflict. And Mars does not like being in the sign of Cancer, so that's considered a debilitated position. Going to talk about that again in a couple of days. So what is Matt going to do now? Because I have that forecast, Matt's going to chill, probably going to spend some time by myself, probably go in hermit mode a little bit for those of y'all that understand tarot, probably be in my Four of Swords energy for those of y'all that know tarot. I'm just going to be resting, relaxing. I might watch a movie. I'm going to stay away from the phone calls. I'm going to stay away from, I got family members that, they get into sports. They want to talk about debate and stuff and get agitated. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to keep it real chill, okay? Until it moves into the next sign, which is Aquarius, okay? Kind of how these things work. So when you know what your house placements are and you know what sign the moon is in, and you also know that the moon is in a waning phase, meaning the light is getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, meaning there's going to be less illumination with regards to what it is that you need to see, but it's also energy going on a downward spiral, okay? So you got positive energy on the waxing moon side, you have negative energy on the waning moon side. Those are just two ways to look at it as well. And I gave you guys the example of the broken tennis racket and not understanding that the moon was in the sign of Scorpio, and I had Scorpio in my second house of valuables, material possessions, and that sort of thing. And the waning moon, it was a waning Scorpio moon. So waning is about loss. And I ended up hypothetically suffering loss of something that was financial. Okay. Thank God it wasn't no money or nothing, but potentially it was money because hypothetically a tennis racket is very expensive. Wanted to give you guys that example. If anybody's got any examples of how Wednesday might have been intense for them and they want to share it, your house, what house placement, where you have Scorpio, what house you got Scorpio sitting in. If you had anything that you don't mind sharing for the chat, drop it in there. We want to hear about it. I'd like to talk about it. Okay. So I wanted to give you guys that just to let you know that when you understand the link between the moon phases and your natal chart, it can help you to navigate your life. Okay. It can help you to know when there are auspicious times to do things, and it can let you know when you maybe need to take a step back and look at things. Okay. And then if there are things that you have to do that cannot, then maybe you got to do something at work that may not necessarily be an auspicious time for you to do that thing, but you have no control over it. At least you go in there armed with awareness, and you can take command of your own emotions and try to avoid something that would be low vibrational from an emotional standpoint. Why? Because we want to try to keep our vibrations as high as possible. Not saying that they won't dip. Our emotions dip just like the waves go up and down, but you don't want to stay down. You don't want to stay down. Okay. So let me read some comments. You guys let me know if you got anything. And Bernadette, if you want to go ahead and click that link in the email, and we're going to bring you up because I want to talk on camera with you. Hopefully it'll show up. Hopefully it'll show you on the screen there. We won't have any problems. So you guys, let me read some comments and see how we're doing here while Bernadette is coming up. All right, let's see. Mistress Forgiveness said, "Please don't read my comment." She said, "The things we have to go through." Oh, don't. Oh, you're telling me not to read it out loud? Okay, I'll just read it to myself. Oh my God. Okay, Mrs. Forgiveness. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Wow, that was hilarious. I'm glad I didn't read that on screen. I think I'm glad I was reading from the bottom up and saw that you said, "Please don't read my comment." Okay, all right, we're good. We're good. All right, so Hot Shot said I'm off it. I'm awesome. Karen said not comfortable at all. Yeah, Karen, it's crazy. I'm telling y'all, this Mars retrograde is so necessary, but it has been so uncomfortable. But sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. So we have to learn to embrace all of the phases of life and embrace the journey, y'all. It's about the journey. It's about the journey. It's not necessarily the destination. It's the journey that makes the destination that much sweeter. We got to remember that with life, y'all. The journey is what makes the destination sweeter. If you want to drive from New York to California, it's probably going to take you maybe 3 days in the car, 2.5 days, depending on what route you take, how fast you're going, whatever. But I'm here to tell you that's going to be a long, arduous trip in a car. But that trip is going to be so much richer than getting in a plane and flying from LaGuardia to LAX. All right. That's life, y'all. Embrace the journey. Embrace it. It's rich. It really is. The ups and the downs. Okay. I heard something outside. Hopefully that wasn't a car crash. But anyway, let me read some more comments. Hotshot said, I've been super sluggish. However, okay, I got that one. Mission said it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Let's see. Karen said, here in Louisiana, we got almost a foot of snow. Wow. Wow, Karen, I was stationed out there. I was stationed down at Fort Polk. That was not fun. That was not fun. I know about Louisiana. That was not fun. Let's see. A lot of mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes. Biggest mosquitoes I ever saw. Let's see. Is that a transformer blowing? All right, y'all. I'm ex-military. When I hear something that sounds like explosions, it triggers certain reactions. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing through it. Um, let's see. Okay, here in Louisiana, we almost got a foot of snow. It's definitely unusual that it's cold here in Florida. Ireland's getting beaten now. Let's see. Oh wow, got my frankincense burning outside. It says the smoke alarm off. Wow. Okay, these women losing their minds trying to hit on us more now. Hey, buddy. Hey, y'all. Excuse me for 1 second. Oh, didn't have it on. Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. My dog was outside the door. He doesn't like explosions, so that stuff bothers him. So I had to get him situated, but we're good to go now. So Let's see, where are we? She said these women losing their minds, trying to hit on us more now too. Oh, I got it. She said, I'm not G. Just sell it by choice. No spirit swapping for me right about now. I heard that. I heard that. I heard that. Right on. Right on. Okay, let's see. All right, so I think I'm caught up on the comments. She said I live further south near New Orleans. Yeah, okay. Yeah, New Orleans was about from Fort Polk. I would say it took almost 4 hours to get to New Orleans. It was just crazy back in the day. Yeah, Fort Polk, some memories from that place. Anyway, so y'all listen. If y'all have any questions about any of the stuff with the moon phases, again, it's super simple, y'all. It is not difficult at all, and it's going to be so enriching in your life. Okay, if you would simply take your natal chart and pay attention, get you a moon tracker app, use the website that I linked in the I dropped the link in the chat, and look at what sign the moon is going to be in and what house you have that energy in, that same sign in. If the moon's in Libra, look at where do I have Libra? It's going to affect me in what type of way? When the moon enters Libra, I'm a Libra rising, so it could affect me from the how I come across to others during that moon phase. How's Matt going to come across to others with the moon being in Libra? Okay. That's kind of how that works. That's kind of how that works. So you got to kind of look at it and you got to see, is this a waning moon? Is it a waxing moon? Is it a full moon? Is it a new moon? You got to kind of learn how that works. And of course, you guys know what you're doing during a full moon. You know what you're doing during a new moon. Once you start to understand these moon phases, and listen, there are probably some Vedic astrologers that are going to watch this. They have this whole thing in Vedic astrology called lunar mansions. And the lunar mansions give you even more detail. There's no lunar mansions that anybody looks at in Western / tropical astrology. And let me just say this really quick before I move on and bring up my guest. Tropical versus Western, I'm still getting some of those questions. People are saying which one's better. I hear Vedic astrologers saying Vedic astrology is more accurate than tropical astrology. Could not be further from the truth. I did a great video, y'all, breaking this down. If you tropical astrology for me, which is based on the path that the sun takes. Tropical astrology for me is the system that is going to put you more in tune with your physical body, your ego body, your practical nature, your masculine nature, if you will. I want to say the tropical more is in alignment with your your masculine nature. Why? Because masculine energy dominates the physical realm. So for me, tropical astrology is more about our physical, the physical realm. That's me. That's for me. Vedic / Eastern astrology is more about the energy of the soul, the feminine energy, the higher self. Okay. I'm a tropical Capricorn sun. I'm a tropical Sagittarius sun. When I read the descriptions for both of those, I embody both of those energies. Okay. But the system that I resonate more with is the tropical. And that's just because to me, more of that day-to-day daily stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot get soul energy from your tropical chart. You just got to know what you're looking at. You got to have an astrologer that knows what they're looking at. You got to have an astrologer that knows how to interpret the degrees and the minutes. I'm gonna do a whole listen, y'all. I'm putting together something for y'all because I believe it wasn't Tour Girl, or was it? It might have been Lady Dagger Status, but one of you guys asking me about doing a workshop or a class. I'm working on that right now. Okay, I'm working on that because you guys, I want everybody that watches me to be able to master their own energy. Okay, do you? Yes, you. If you've never had a natal chart reading and you want to understand yourself better, absolutely get an astrologer that can help you with that. But and I'm not comparing me to anybody else, like to say, oh, this, that, because everybody has somebody different they resonate with. For me, a lot of my stuff is based on intuition. Okay. I know the science, but my intuition is what helps me to help people over the hump. And this is why I've had people come to me and say, man, listen, I've been studying astrology for this many years. I've had natal chart readings. I've never had anybody break down to me what you just broke down. And it is so resonant. It resonates with me. So thank you for what you're doing. It comes from the Most High. Okay. It comes from the Most High. It comes from, I believe, past life gifts. I believe it comes from past life gifts. Things that you're good at in this life. How does a 2-year-old baby, or how does a 2 or 3-year-old, y'all see the videos, 2, 3, 4 years old, they're doing a whole piano concerto. They didn't learn that. They didn't learn that in this lifetime. How did they do it? Soul memory. Soul memory. So that's a long way around the block to get you to the house next door. It is not that Vedic astrology is more accurate than tropical. It's just what do I want to do? Okay. If I need to haul some wood or brush, I'm not putting that in the back of my Honda Civic. I don't have a Honda Civic. I'm just saying. You're not hauling brush and tree limbs and stuff in the back of a Honda Civic. Okay. You're gonna throw that on the back of your pickup truck. All right. You want to take you want to go to the store real quick, or you want to go a long distance and not have to keep gassing up your vehicle because you want something more fuel efficient. You don't take that big Ford F-350. You take that Honda Civic. It's going to get you further. All right. So you have to use the right tool for what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Do I look at Vedic stuff? Sometimes I do. But for the most part, I live in the tropical because people want that practical. What do I need to know now? What's going to help me day to day? When you want it, but when you have people that don't, they say, well, I don't feel like I resonate with such and such. Then that to me tells me that they resonate more with their higher self and they need to be looking at that Vedic. I resonate with both my higher self and my lower self, but I love, to me, the Capricorn experience to me is a little bit more resonant than the Sagittarius. Again, I'm a Vedic Sagittarius sun. Do I consider myself a Sagittarius? My dad is a Sagittarius. One of my best friends, shout out to you, Anya, is a Sagittarius. I don't move like she does. I don't move like my dad do. You can call a Sagittarius up today and be like, hey, man, what time is it? Oh, yo, you just got it. Yo, let's go shopping. Boom, they ready to go. Let's go to this place. Boom, they ready to go. Sagittarius always ready to go. I'm a Capricorn. I resonate with that Capricorn energy. Like, nah, man, y'all go ahead. Tell me how that was for you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm working on something different. I'm trying to work on some work so I can get some work done, so I can get them coins. That's Capricorn ideology. All right. So I'm a little bit more onto that side. So anyway, but that's for somebody. That's for somebody. Both of those systems are accurate. They are. My other signs are the same. Okay. My moon and my rising are the same in both systems. All right. My suns are different. But anyway, to each his own. So let me look at some comments and we're going to move on. It was my first day back from family leave and these people were acting like I wasn't supposed to take off. I realized that I needed to pursue another field. I've been delaying it. It is as rough. Is in my fourth house. Okay. It's in my fourth. Scorpio's in your fourth house. Okay. Okay. So listen, that tells me you're a Leo rising, Taurus girl. Listen, y'all, I've my coaches. Okay. I've got coaches that coach me, believe it or not. My coaches have said, Matt, it's time for you to put yourself out there and stop being shy. If you guys want expert advice on your natal chart, go to my about tab and click my email. Send me an email. I'm happy to help. What's been hot for me right now in this season has been the North Node / Soul Purpose and Soul Destiny readings. If you want somebody to help you figure that out, I'm your guy. Hit me up, okay? Now, anybody that comes to you outside of the space of this, and when I say hit me up, send me an email by going to my About tab and looking at my email address and clicking that and sending me an email. Anybody that might pretend to be me, they might download a picture and say, hey, brother, the spirit is telling me that I need to tell you this. Yeah, and I'm talking to y'all Nigerians because y'all do that a lot. Yeah, y'all. It's a lot of y'all doing that. Y'all stop it, man. Stop it. Just get a legit webpage and put yourself out there and tell people, hey, I'm open for business. Stop going to people's comments, pretending to be them so y'all can chop their dollar. Anyway, no offense. No offense if that ain't true. All right. So that being said, y'all send me an email. I'm happy to help. Okay. I'm very happy to help. And right now for my North Node readings through the end of the month, if you want to book and you can book it for February, whatever, I'm doing $30 off on that North Node reading. So y'all book me to get that price and, or y'all hit me up, email me to get that price and let's get it going. Let's figure out why you're here. The two most important questions. This is on my homepage for my profile. I got a video up there. The two most important questions. What am I here for? And am I doing it? What did I come here to do? And am I doing it? Okay. So that understanding, properly interpreting your North Node and understanding what that is going to get you a long way. And there's some other add-on services you could do like soul contract reading, stuff like that. If you don't do that, you just do the basics. I promise you that by the time our session is over, and I don't sit here and say, this is you and this is, we work. I listen to you. I'll tell you what I see. I'll listen to you. We figure it out. Okay. There's no 1-for-1 with astrology. I want y'all to know that real quick before I bring up my guest. There is no 1-for-1. Okay. And I think the Most High did that on purpose. there are a lot of different areas that all of these houses cover. There are a lot of different energies that are present in with regards to what these planetary ordinances do: the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Okay, and then based on your sign, there's a bunch of different energies. So this stuff is like infinite, y'all. So ultimately, it's going to be somebody interpreting that placement and telling you what they see. And this is just Matt speaking again, because everybody does their stuff different. Somebody, and I ain't for everybody. And there's some other people that are going to get a richer experience with somebody else than they're going to get with me. I don't sit here and try to act like I'm the end all be all. I'm not. Okay. So that being said, it is all about getting in alignment. Everything is about alignment. Everything is about energetic alignment. Get with somebody that you are energetically aligned with, and they can help. They should be able to help you figure it out and narrow the scope. It could always be this. It could always be that. I watch a lot of tarot readers. They're the same way. They're like, these are some meanings of this particular tarot card. What resonates with you? Why did the Most High do that, Matt? Well, because if it were a 1-for-1, anybody could figure anybody out. Anybody could figure anybody out if it were a 1-for-1. But the Most High did that on purpose. I read that scripture last week. As high as the heavens are from the earth, that's how far my thoughts are from yours. He did that to protect you. Psalms 83 says they have consulted against my hidden ones. The Most High will hide some of y'all special people out there with special abilities. He'll hide you right in front of the face of your enemies. And they'll think you just like everybody else and won't know until it's time to know. So the Most High did that on purpose. You want an intuitive, when you can help it, or when you whatever the universe lines up for you. Ideally, it's someone, whoever you hook up with is somebody that can look at your situation and help you figure it out. That's ultimately what you want to do. Okay. That being said, now let me read a bio, and I'm going to bring up this lovely lady. And y'all, I got to tell you, this video that she recommended in the comments of another video was absolutely fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating. So let me see if I need my glasses or no. I don't think I do. So let me introduce her. This is the lovely Bernadette Johnson. She is the owner of a YouTube channel called No-Hosea 4 and 6. Okay. And I will share the link to that channel in the chat in just a moment. But Bernadette is 45. She is a November Scorpio. Okay. She's a November Scorpio, November 19th. Okay. Look, I'm not going to give y'all all her business because she may not want it out there. She might not want none of y'all looking her up. So I'm not going to give the whole DOB out there. All right. But she's a little bit younger than me. I shouldn't even say a little bit younger, y'all, because there's this whole little thing about time. Time doesn't really exist. Like, what generation were you born in? That's really what matters, okay? What Pluto generation were you born in? That is kind of that thing. What North Node were you born in? All right, what North Node cycle were you born in? All of that. I'll look at that stuff like that. Like, this is me rambling, but I got a good friend of mine. Shout out to you, D. She knows who she is. We grew up together. She's a Gemini. She was born in June. I was born in December of the same year. On paper, she's older than me, but that's not the way that works. Because she's a Gemini, she could only come in here in Gemini season. Because I'm a Capricorn, I could only come in during Capricorn season. So I'm a Capricorn and she's a Gemini of the same year. We're the same age. See how I did that? Pay attention, y'all. There's a number of different ways to look at things. But anyway, the lovely Miss Bernadette Johnson, 45 years old. Okay. Dag, I just said the age, so y'all could probably figure it out by now. Anyway, she lives down south. She's a resident, South Carolina. And let's see, she is a reference librarian by day, where she works at an academic library. Okay. She has been a librarian for 20 years and enjoys researching and assisting students, professors, and the general public with their research. Bernadette was awakened to the truth of her Israelite heritage in the summer of 2007 and has been on a spiritual quest ever since. Bernadette is also a YouTube content creator. I just mentioned that a minute ago. And her YouTube channel, again, is Hosea 4 and 6. All right. And Bernadette's mission as a YouTuber is to help awaken her people about their Israelite heritage and their place with the Most High. All right. And Bernadette is a solar Scorpio and a lunar Sagittarius. So Bernadette, the moon is in your current moon sign, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up. Welcome, Bernadette. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Are you muted? It looks like your microphone is muted.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear me?
Let's see. There should be like a little icon down there,
Yes.
maybe. You can
Yes,
click to
I
unmute.
did it. Yes. Let's see.
Oh, you know what? It's not you. It's me. Sorry,
Okay.
I have my volume turned all the way down from the music. It's me.
Hi, can you hear me now?
No, listen, they could hear you the whole time. That was me. All right, that was me. That was
Well,
me.
good evening, Brother Madden. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so honored to
My
be here
pleasure.
tonight.
My pleasure. I
And good
listen.
evening, everyone.
Listen, I love my Scorpio brothers and sisters. I got family
Mhm.
members that are Scorpios. I got really good friends that are Scorpios, and
Mhm.
y'all get y'all get down to the nitty gritty and find out what's really happening. That's what I love about y'all. That's what I love about y'all. So, Bernadette, I wanted to bring you on here tonight. First of all, again, thank you for agreeing to join, and thank you for that beautiful thank you for that expert video you did today.
Oh,
Y'all,
thank you. Thank you. Thank
y'all,
you.
I got it. Y'all, listen, I'm gonna pause for just a moment and I'm gonna put the link to that video in this chat because y'all got to see this video that I saw today. Hang on a second. Y'all have got to see this video that I saw today. Let me make sure. Let me go to my history. Y'all have got to see this, family. Burn it. I'm like, where have I been? this was, and y'all, I'm gonna burn it down. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you on your boy Matt over here. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm a harsh critic. I don't always. Now, what I'm not gonna do is, if I'm not working with someone, I'm not gonna be critical. I'm just gonna be like, I'm probably not gonna watch that anymore. Okay, but when it's good, I think people need to know. So, y'all, that's the video I watched today. And Bernadette, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit? I've read the bio. Is there anything else about yourself you want anybody to know? Any anything else before we get started?
Okay. Anything,
Like
anything like
maybe,
what?
like maybe perhaps what motivated you to create a YouTube channel and become a content creator?
Actually, I would say two words, but it's actually a name that motivated me to create this YouTube channel now. Honestly, this is a YouTube channel that I had for a while and I renamed it. It was maybe about a year and a half ago. It was July 2023. And I renamed it No Hosea 46. And I just want to say this, the no, it's a word, but it's also an acronym, which means, knowledge. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, like Hosea 4:6. N is the nation, we, the nation of Israel. O, obedience to, to Yah, and also W is wisdom. The fear of
Mm,
Yah is the beginning of wisdom. So it's a word and it's also an acronym.
okay, I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. So
Right. So what
let's
inspired? Oh, okay.
no. Go ahead, please, please,
Yeah, to
please.
answer your question, what
Uh-huh.
inspired me to rebrand my channel is I say it was not really two words, it's a name, Carly Russell. And I mentioned her in my video.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when the story broke out, she was missing. Of course, everybody was all sympathetic. And then her story started falling apart. And then of course, we know the rest of the story, that it was, written off as a hoax. But for some reason, I went against the grain. I did not buy into the hoax narrative. And it was grieving me that everyone was condemning her for, condemning her as a liar. But if you go back and watch my series, you will see in more detail, what I really thought that actually happened to her. And I was so grieving at the time. I didn't have a real channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's when but see, back in 2019, I had always wanted to start a channel, but I couldn't get my material together.
Mm-hmm.
But once that happened with Carly Russell, that's when I was inspired to start my channel. I got everything together, the graphics together, the music together, and everything just came together. So that was the right time. That was Yah's time for me to
So
start my YouTube.
let me interrupt you for just a moment.
Mhm.
For the people who don't know who Carly Russell is and what happened, can you give us a just a quick overview, like just high level of what that story is about? Because maybe people
Oh,
watching, not
right.
everybody knows who she is.
Okay. Okay. This happened in July of 2023. And Carly Russell, she was a sister in Alabama, a young black woman in Alabama in her mid-20s. She was a nursing student.
Mm-hmm.
And she was missing, and declared missing, I think, in July 13th, on July 13th, she was declared missing. And she was missing for about 48, 49 hours, something in that area. And her family was, and of course, the time when she had called her, I think her brother's girlfriend, she was on the phone. And then she was talking with her brother's girlfriend, and then she said she saw a child on the side of the road. And then she also called, she called 911 to say that there's a child on the side of the road. She was driving down the interstate. Mm-hmm. And then she also called her, like I said, her brother's girlfriend. And then while she was on the phone with her brother's girlfriend, the girlfriend heard her scream. She was saying asking the child, "Are you all right?" But she never heard the child say anything. And then she heard Carly Russell scream, and then she lost connection. And that's when they figured that something had happened to her. She was kidnapped and things like that. And then she was missing, for those 49 or so hours. And then she turned up on at her parents' door, looking all disheveled and out of it and this and that. And of course, there were different theories that, came about. And then she gave her story that she was kidnapped by this white man with orange hair and this and that, and fed cheese and crackers and things like that. They had kidnapped her, took pictures of her, made her strip. She didn't say that she was, SA,
Right.
So it was something on that order. But then they tried to find this so-called people who kidnapped her, and they couldn't find, any traces of it. And that's when her story started falling apart. And then they declared her, that she was lying. It was a hoax. And that's when they charged her with filing a false report. But of course, I have my own theory on that. And it was others who had the same theory that I had. But you can find it out if you watch the series.
So y'all check her channel out. No Hosea 4 and 6. And I put the let me type it in there. You know what? Why don't we do this the easier way? Let me just go to the channel and then I'll copy that. Let me kill the audio here. Let's go here. And I'll put that in there too. So y'all check her out. Because look, okay. I've seen Bernadette, I've seen your name in the chats before, but I'm like, I didn't know. You easily need 100 times more subscribers on that channel because you dropping it. You remind me a lot of Vicky Dillard a little. You know what I mean?
Right.
You bring it like that.
I love her. I love Vicky Dillard.
You're bringing it like that. So that is that. Wait. See, I was trying to stop this. Hold up. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna get it together, y'all. The volume, everything. This has been a long week, and you already know. But she's up for it because the moon is in Sagittarius, and she's a Sagittarius moon. So she's right at home, y'all. She's in her element. So listen, Bernadette, let me get on to it. This video that I watched earlier, titled "Trump on Crystal Mangum's Confession: The Spiritual Roots of the Black Woman versus White Patriarchy." I wanted to bring you on here to talk about that because some of the themes that you were talking about in that particular video have to deal with the moon. And there are so many people that do not understand these, like I said, you can find in Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, they're called ordinances. A lot of people hear the moon, they hear the planets, they still think that this is somehow some dark, like you're practicing something dark by understanding these energies and how they work, forgetting that whether you believe in astrology or not, all of these different ordinances were in a position relative to where you are at the time that you were born, and that those energies help to make you who you are. So therefore, these different transits are going to affect your body because we are made up of the same materials. People forget that we are energy occupying a physical body. And that's part of my problem with education and modern religion. These are things that have made us see God outside of us and made us look at it has really made it about the flesh. And I don't say that in any type of Christian or religious type of way, but it literally has made it about the flesh. And people think, okay, well, a person's born and then a person passes and their flesh, all they did was get out of a vehicle. That's it. That is it. If you ever see me in my car, you're going to say, hey, there's Matt. But when I get outside of my car, if you see my car and my car is parked in front of one of my favorite supermarkets, Publix, okay, that's not a. I probably shouldn't have said it because they ain't paying me nothing to say it, but it is what it is. Okay. If you see my car parked in front of there, you're not gonna say, "Oh, there's Matt." You're gonna say, "Matt's in the supermarket." Okay. So but when I get back in my car and I'm driving, I roll the window down. Hey, oh, there's Matt. I'm not my car. I'm not my car. So we're not our bodies.
No.
When I'm looking at you, it is me looking at you through the lens of these two windows right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm observing your energy. I'm observing you. It is you that's making this vehicle move. That's kind of how that thing works. So to watch this video and hear you talking about the moon and how, and these are things that I've talked about for a while. So it just got me excited when I heard, here's somebody else that understands it and she's breaking it down for women. Okay. I brought you on. Number one, I have a lot of females that watch this channel, and I don't get caught up in the whole male female thing because everybody's 3 parts masculine, everybody's 3 parts feminine, and 1 part neutral. It is the same at the atomic level. I just watched a wonderful video that another former co-host I had, not co-host, but another guest I had on there, my brother Nate, he sent me a video talking about the God Almighty Grand Unified Theorem. I had never heard of it. It's called God Guts. But this Nigerian mathematician broke this thing down. And when you're done understanding and watching him break this equation down that no mathematician or scientist has been able to refute, you then understand the true essence and nature of this energy that we call God. It blows your mind. I'm going to have him on here probably in a week, and he and I are going to talk about that on camera for you guys. Mind blowing. So there's so much information that is now flooding in, and we are literally watching the removal of the chains that were prophesied to be broken in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 8, when he said, "In those days I will burst thy bonds and break his yoke from off your neck and burst thy bonds, and strangers will no more serve themselves of him." He was talking about Jacob. A lot of this bondage has been on our minds because the very tools that we need to be using to ascend, the enemy uses them, but then the enemy tells you they're evil. What's that going to do? That's going to keep you down. So, Bernadette, I want to talk about that video. I knew the Crystal Mangum story, but it kind of went away. But I did not know that this thing had bubbled back up with the inauguration of now President Donald Trump. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so tell you about what exactly.
What was your inspiration for doing this video? Because again, I know what I saw watching yours. I didn't know that she had from prison confessed. I'll say that with double air quotes. Confessed that she made the whole story up about the 3 Duke lacrosse players seedless graping her. I like what you did with the video. How you said grape, okay? But just to make sure that we understand, everybody understand what I'm saying, okay? Seedless grape, drop the seedless, drop the G. That's what we're talking about when we say seedless grape, okay? So if heretofore, if you hear me say seedless grape, that's what I'm talking about. And I intentionally chose seedless because a seedless grape ain't even natural. Y'all put that where it goes, okay? Y'all put that where it goes. Now, so I did not know that she confessed, double air quote, that the whole story was made up.
Yes.
Why now?
And that's the question. That's the $1 million question. Why now? After all these years, it's been almost 20 years. Why now? When she had all of that time to confess. Now, I did also, when it first broke, I also made a point and asked a question, why didn't they ever charge her for filing a false report like Carly Russell? They never, ever charged her. And what the then Attorney General Roy Cooper said their reason for not charging her, he said, oh, it's because in her mind, she believed it happened. That was his only explanation for not ever charging her.
So
what sense does it make?
It makes no sense. And I'm going to tell you another thing that I got from watching your video. Why is a so-called confession of wrongful accusation coming from this woman who's done the time already. Isn't she scheduled to get out next year?
2000 next year.
She's
Early
scheduled to get
next
out
year.
next year. So
Yes.
she's already done the time.
Yes.
Why now? Why is a confession of a wrongful accusation coming up now when if you roll the tape back and you've done some great investigative work, y'all hear me when I tell y'all. I've said this once, I said it 1,000 times. You do not want a Scorpio up your crooked letter, especially if they're female, because if they got Scorpio and Virgo together in the same top 3 or top 6, you better be coming correct or you might be in trouble. All right, because they're gonna get down to the nitty gritty and find out what's going on. I told y'all Scorpios are seers, Cancers are feelers, and Pisces are knowers. This woman on the screen right now, she can see with the best of them, y'all. So based on that research that you did, Bernadette, I said to myself, the first thing that came out of me was, well, they did a seedless grape kit on her in the hospital after it allegedly happened, and it came back positive, showing that she had been seedless graped.
Yes.
So why is nobody looking at that and lining that up and juxtaposing that with this so-called confession now?
That's what
got me. So I want everybody to watch the video in spite of what we're talking about tonight. But Bernadette, talk to us about the moon. Talk to us about some of the themes you talked about with the divine feminine in that video.
Okay, well, to be honest, I really don't know a whole lot about astrology. And I really don't know a whole lot about the moon. It's just maybe the little bit that I researched, but it's just things that actually came to me as far as a revelation. One thing led to another. At first, I started looking at the dates. I started seeing this reoccurring 13, the date of the alleged crime, March 13th, 2006. See, I always studied numbers. I always looked at numbers, even my own life. I always looked at numbers. I saw the 13 then. I saw December 13th. And then when she made a so-called confession, Friday the 13th, which is also, important in the divine feminine. And then I don't know if you ever heard of the YouTuber B Dale 1014. Yes. But anyway, I watched some of his videos too. And he also talk about, things in regarding the moon, just like you, because of course I was inspired by you too.
Thank you.
I always take notice of the moon. And then I said, okay, well, if I saw with the numbers, I said, okay, well, I would wonder what phase the moon was in on the night of that alleged crime. Of course, I Googled it. Wow, the full moon.
Wow.
And then also it took place on a Monday. And actually, I know you said I'm a Scorpio, and I was actually born on a Monday. I was born on. I just wanted to throw that in.
Wow.
And I recorded the video that you shared with the room that was on a Monday, January the 13th on a Monday. Yes. And then I also, from reading the Bible, I know how the woman is associated, with the moon, feminine. And then also, as I said in the video, on the average, a woman has 13, menstrual cycles. And then, let's see. And then let me see if I said everything that I wanted to say about that. Oh, and also too, January the 13th was also a full moon. It was also a full moon, January the 13th.
Now, January 13th of this year, was that when that confession came?
No. The confession came December the 13th.
December 13th. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Full moons, Mondays, 13th, Friday the 13th. There's a whole lot going on here. So I had to make, and the thing is, things just kept coming to me. The Most High was really dealing with me during December. I wrote down pages and pages of notes and things. And what I shared in that video, that's just a tidbit of all the other things. It's not even related to that Yah has been showing me. And so in due time, I'll be sharing it, Yah willing.
Good. So the thing that, when you look at these things, and I even talked about in my full moon in Cancer video, there are these such things called portals. Okay. Yes. And portals are nothing more than cosmic alignments. I
Mm-hmm.
often like to tell people to look at them like gears.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a bunch of gears turning at the same time, every now and then those gears come to where you got a window open that
Mm-hmm.
you can do something, that you can harness that energy and move through that portal while it's open before it closes. This is
Mm-hmm.
why one of the biggest portals of the year is called the Lions Gate portal. That
Right.
is 8-8. You
Eight,
know,
eight.
the
Mm-hmm.
it's during Leo season, and when you understand the history of the Lions Gate portal, that there's a range of about, I want to say about maybe 2 weeks in there, where historically the Nile would flood its banks and fertilize the soil, making it
Mm-hmm.
rich for planting. And this is when they would plant back in the day. But the thing is, the way these portals work is they are opportunities that they're opportunities for actions that are in alignment with the energy of that celestial body and the energy of the day, because the day has energy, the energy of the number that's associated with the day, because everything in the universe runs on numbers. I tell people this: numbers are the universal language. I
Yes.
say it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If you go to another country where you do not speak the language, but you write a number down, they're going to know what that number is.
Mm-hmm.
We are all hardwired to understand numbers. Numeric frequencies work with different areas of the body. If you want to get downloads, you play a 963 hertz frequency. You can go to sleep with it on. You probably gonna get some downloads. The
Mm-hmm.
963 hertz is the number frequency that matches the crown chakra. What is the crown chakra? The crown chakra is neither masculine nor feminine. That's your connection to the heavenly realms. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when I'm meditating, I play crown chakra music. Okay. If I've had a difficult day and I feel like my heart is heavy, I will play heart chakra frequency music. It is a numeric frequency that the body itself understands. So when you are playing, if you feel like your body's out of tune, but you're playing a heart chakra frequency, that's going to bring whatever that number is that's associated with the heart that dipped back into alignment. This is how David did what he did with the harp. This is
Mm-hmm.
exactly how he did. David's harp was his that was as lethal as his sling. Okay. His sling was lethal to physical enemies. His harp was lethal to spiritual enemies. He used that harp to drive out unclean spirits.
Clean spirits. Mm-hmm.
So, how did he do it? He did it by playing certain numeric frequencies. These things, when these energies are off, it's just a number that's off. So, by playing certain frequencies, you can bring it back into alignment. So, everything, when you're dealing with a day, you've got certain, like you're saying, you're born on a Monday. What do I know about that? Monday is Moon Day. Okay. So
Okay.
what does that mean? That means, without knowing Bernadette, if Bernadette tells you she was born on Monday, that's going to tell you, one, that emotions play a big role in her life. Number two, she's able to see things that are hidden, because the moon is the revealer of secrets. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
other thing that the moon does. The moon reveals secrets. So when you're dealing with somebody that was born on a Monday, they're going to embody the energy of the moon, just because of the day of the week they were born on. People don't understand this stuff. They think it's somehow hoodoo, voodoo, shoo shoo, whatever. It's none of that. It is the energy under which you were born. I was born on a Friday. What is Friday? Friday is Venus Day. So when people talk about me, now the high vibrational people, I ain't talking about the haters, because we all got them too, right? But they're necessary for us. They're necessary to keep making sure that we go in the way we're supposed to go. But Venus, somebody born on a Friday was born under the sign of Venus, so they embody love energy. If you were born on a Friday, you embody love energy. People can feel the love that you vibrate. They can feel the love that you radiate, because that's the energy of the day that you were born under. People that were born on a Thursday, that's Jupiter Day. They have big energy. They're very expansive. You see these people, they're very expansive people. People born on a Wednesday, that's Mercury Day. They're very talkative. Conversation is big for them. That's kind of how that is. People that were born on Tuesdays, they can be aggressive. Tuesdays are Mars Day. Okay, that's Martes in Spanish. That's Mars Day. So people
Mm-hmm.
who are born on a Tuesday are typically going to be a little bit more aggressive than people born on any other day of the week. People
Mm-hmm.
born on a Sunday, they're going to have a bright disposition most of the time when you see them. So these are different things that we need to understand. But
Mm-hmm.
getting back to that whole moon thing, the importance of the moon is the controller. It is the governing body for the emotions. Emotions are pretty much everything. As you said on your video, energy in motion.
In motion.
So when you understand these different moon cycles, and you even talk about how these different things happened with Crystal during the different times and different days of the week and the
Right.
dates and all of this stuff,
Mhm.
they're harnessing the energy of these. And I talked about this when I did that series talking about Jake Paul, and I did about 4 videos talking about Baal sacrifice. These people are looking for people to get sacrificed nowadays like they did in the old days with knives and altars and stuff. They're not doing it now. They don't need to, because to them it is more advantageous to them to make an example out of somebody by sacrificing their energy body. They sacrifice an energy body, everybody watches, they get more out of it sacrificing an energy body than they do a physical body. That's a waste for them.
Yes.
Hey, let's get Mike Tyson to take a dive for money to put this false narrative out there of this. I mean, I don't want to say it, but I mean, come on, W supremacy. Here's a guy that ain't never laced up the gloves in no amateur fights, never fought his way up through the ranks, but he's beating all these seasoned brothers, knocking them out. But it's phony. It's phony. But listen, when you will take money to do something that you would not take money to do normally, let me take that back. When you take money to do something that you would not do if there were no money associated with it, then you've been sacrificed. So when you bring up Crystal, I gotta wonder if there was some offer made to her to get her to turn around and say those 3 guys did not seedless grape her.
That's what I suspected. That's what I said in my first video. I said, did she make a deal?
Right.
It's close to when she's about to be released.
Right.
She makes some kind of deal, because this was some years ago. It was another interview she did. Somebody was interviewing her, and I believe she said that she was working on a second book. And knowing that she was about to be released, I wonder if they said, okay, if she about to get out of here, she gonna tell a more of the story. We have to try and stop this. So let's try and make a deal with her.
Even if that deal was, listen, we can make your life a living hell. How many years did you spend? Do you want to spend some more time in here?
Yes.
Tell you what, you come out and do this confession and say that you made this whole thing up, and you get out of here like a good girl next year, and you'll be fine. What have you done? You cut off her avenue of making money, because now she can't write a book about it. So you basically have who's to even say they gave her money? Like, she probably didn't even get no money. They could have just made it about the time.
Yeah, they could have.
But now what?
That enough.
Exactly. But what they have done is they've purchased control of the narrative. Now, you brought up some more points about attacks, or what appears to be attacks on feminine energy, particular divine feminine energy, and in particular melanated. I want you to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, actually, that came as a revelation, actually, as far as the melanated energy, of course. And when I found out that the 13 is associated, with the divine feminine, and I know that the melanated woman, the Black woman, the African woman, is the original woman. So, of course, the divine feminine, she would contain the highest concentration of the divine feminine. So I figured that whether it was the people themselves, her alleged attackers, or some higher beings that was controlling everything, whichever one, I think they deliberately targeted her, she being a highly melanated woman, because of the potency of her melanin and of her divine feminine energy. Because the other dancer, there was a second dancer there. The other dancer was mixed race. She was Black and Asian, and she was what some would consider, because see, I saw pictures of her, early in the case, would consider her as an exotical. You would think that the men would go after her, but no, they targeted Crystal, the unambiguously Black woman. Why?
That's got to be spiritual.
Yes.
It looks physical on the surface, but that's got to be spiritual.
It's spiritual.
And moon energy is the moon is your feminine energy.
Yes.
Your sun sign is your masculine energy. Your moon sign is your feminine energy. Feminine energy is always more pronounced in a woman. So when you're doing these things under certain moon phases and moon cycles, there's no way that it's not a ritualistic sacrifice.
Right. And that's what was revealed to me, that it was actually a ritual. Because in the beginning, you would think, oh, this is just insignificant people. She's just an insignificant person. She's just an exotic dancer, this and that. There's really, nothing to her, nothing special about her. That's how it seemed to the natural eye. But then the Most High started opening my eyes. And one thing ever since this case first broke, I followed it. And I always kept my eyes peeled for any kind of updates, from almost 20 years ago. I always kept my eye out for updates. And what a surprise I had on December the 13th when I said all these years she stood strong, all the way up to I think 2023, 2024. And then now she makes this confession.
And this happens after Donald Trump takes office.
Well, it happened actually before he won the
president-elect. He's president-elect.
He was president-elect. Yes. This happened. Yes.
So your video to me seemed to suggest a link between the old guard, so to speak, the old guard, the old establishment trying to hold on to power in a season where the divine feminine energy in the earth is rising.
Is rising. That's it. And I see this as spiritual warfare. They're trying to hit something off.
Oh, yeah. What you're saying now is it's really shedding light on why there has been this push for division between the so-called black man and the so-called black woman. Because listen, if you want to defeat an enemy, you defeat them. The easiest way to defeat that enemy is from within, especially if that's a power unit. This is going deep now. This is going levels. When you separate, I've broken this down in so many different videos. When you take, for example, the whole me leaving the church, me leaving the Christian church and the things of that nature, and people saying, well, brother, you got to have a covering now. Make sure you're in church because you need a covering. And I'm like, this almost said something. let me put the emoji in here so y'all know what I'm talking about. Hold on a minute. Let me put the emoji in here because y'all gonna know what I'm talking about here in a minute. Let me find this emoji. All right. I almost said that. Okay. This right here, he cannot cover me. A man, listen, you can pray for me. Of course, anybody can pray for anybody. Okay. But this karate fighter, this Japanese martial arts mask wearing martial artist type of individual, he can't cover me.
Oh.
Feminine energy it's the closest. Listen, feminine energy is the energy of the cosmos. You want to get to the ether. Look, you want to get to where God is. That the physical realm is dominated by masculine energy because it's about physical prowess and power.
Right.
But even the evidence of the strength of the feminine energy is evident in the physical realm. How do we know that? Because women have a higher pain tolerance than men do. Women have a higher pain tolerance than men do. People think that pain is physical, but it's actually spiritual. It's actually spiritual.
Hey.
This is why you see these Shaolin monks and these masters in these different Tibetan temples and different places in the Chinese mountains that learn these. They train their bodies. They train their body. They teach themselves to ignore pain. They do that via their feminine energy, not their masculine energy. Why? Because when you're in spirit, you don't feel what's going on in the flesh.
Right.
It's like in the dreamscape. When you dreaming, how many times does somebody have to shake you to wake you up? You don't even feel them shaking you. It's because you have now stepped over into the realm of the divine. You stepped over into the realm of the ether. You stepped into the astral plane where feminine energy dominates. So guess what? This is why I keep telling people to watch that Amazon Prime video show, The Wheel of Time. It shows you how these things work. you have these spiritual women that are called Aes Sedai, and they have the ability to they master the elements. So all of their power is using water or fire or air and stuff like that. They combat using spiritual gifts, but their spiritual gifts only go so far. They need the protection of these male warriors called warders, and their job, they're skilled with the sword, they're skilled with some weapon. Their job is to keep male enemies off of this female spiritual guru while she's doing her spiritual work. That's how that connection comes together. But when you can drive a wedge between that 9 ether male and that 9 ether female, guess what? He now has no spiritual protection and she now has no physical protection.
Exactly.
So this is why a lot of these systems are in place to put us at odds and even to put y'all at odds with each other.
Right.
You see it on social media all the time. I'm like, what are y'all arguing for? Y'all arguing for nothing. Like, y'all need to be teaming up.
Exactly.
Combining that spiritual power. But they do these things to drive the wedge between, and they mess with these moon cycles and use these moon cycles, and they look at this, they pay attention to all the things I've been telling y'all to pay attention to tonight. They pay attention to these things, and they figure out what is the best day for me to do this thing I need to do to this individual, so that I can get the result that I want and keep myself in power.
Yes, to keep the upper hand.
So when you're looking at this whole, I've been seeing this for a while now, and when I read that scripture that was the basis of the video I did, it said is the return of the divine feminine prophesied in scripture, which it is. And don't listen, for those of y'all watching that know, don't be surprised if what comes out of these ships is some 12-foot sisters with big afros. Okay, don't be surprised, because here's why I say that, Bernadette. When you look in, let's look at the animal kingdom. When you got bees, do you hear something called a king bee? It's called a queen bee.
Queen bee, right?
Queen bee, a queen wasp. All these things they're protected by male bees. They're protected by male bees, okay? But they're the divine intelligence of the whole hive. That's why if that queen bee, if something happens to her, the hive scatters. The hive scatters. There's no more hive now. There's no more colony because the queen is gone. So they understand this feminine maternal nature, and it's like, hey, if we attack that woman, not only do we attack her psyche, but we attack the portal, because it's really about the portal. Y'all are the portals for bringing new energy into the earth realm. So if you attack that divine feminine, you attack that portal. Even if you attack that divine, let's say you don't, and there's a lot of womb stuff going on, because we know they use certain, I don't want to say it on this platform because they real funny about that, but let's say they use certain things that you get from certain people wearing lab coats. Let me say that. They take certain things that you get from certain people wearing lab coats that destroy the feminine reproductive system. Okay. Right. But even in the cases where they don't do that, look at all of the other mental stuff they got going on. If they can keep a woman in a certain, especially a melanated woman, if they can keep her in a certain mental state, then it's going to affect the children. So now you've wiped out the next line.
Exactly. Because
they're all messed up because, well, my mama, I mean, everybody loved their dad too, but the dad ain't the glue. It's like, listen, I'm like you. I heard you mention something in your video. I tried to teach myself Hebrew some years ago, and I kind of dropped it when the modern Hebrew mixing in. That's not what our ancestors spoke. It's been tainted. So I've lost my flavor for it. I'm like, do I really want to learn this? Why do I initially struck out to learn it because I wanted to be able to read different scriptures that were written originally in Hebrew, so I could deduce from it what I see. But the transition from the ancient pictographic to the paleo to now this modern script, and what happened with it when it was revived by Eleazar ben Yehuda, it's not the same thing. A lot of it is English words using Hebrew sounds. So you look at it like, I was watching an episode of a walking tour or something, and the guy walked past a donut shop, And because I know the character set, I'm looking at it and it says donut. It's just Hebrew characters. I'm like, really? Just use English, you know?
Yes. Mhm.
So, but I don't even remember how I got on that. But I was talking about geez, what was I? How did I even get on that? I was this is Sagittarius, Mercury and Sagittarius moment. I lost it that fast. I agree. I started out studying, and when I found out, I stopped. It's the same, Tor girl. I lost my flavor for it. But I guess what I was getting at is we were talking about how they try to drive the wedge between the masculine and the feminine energy. And how did I get into Hebrew from that? I was talking about the portals, and okay, that's what I was talking about. So when I was learning it, I learned that the word you got Abba, which is father, and you got Ama. In Hebrew is strength or strong because it's represented by the ox. So when you see the ox, that represents strength. And then Ma is water. So when you put those two together, strong water is glue. That was the ancient Hebrew understanding. When someone would say Ama, that meant strong water because they understood that Ba is the house and is strength. The strength of the house is the father, but the glue that held the house together is the mother. So you can have the strength of the house in there, but if it ain't no glue holding it together, I say that all the time. The man builds the house, the woman builds the home.
Right.
So if you destroy the home, it doesn't matter if there's a house standing there. So a lot of this attack and rift is to keep these two ancient halves of a power unit separate, because if they come together, it's lights out for the darkness.
Absolutely.
So you're seeing this. I'll tell you, your video was just fascinating. Everybody, I hope y'all watch that video. Yeah, I saw that Tora girl. She said they changed it to Ema. And I'm gonna tell you the problem with that. I don't even understand why a Jewish, let me just say this may get in the mud a little bit, may tweak some people, whatever. But I'm gonna say this because I've said it off camera. I don't understand why Jewish women would even allow that to be themselves to be called Ema and not Ama, because they're using the same character set. So if that same or as they call it, Aleph, which anyway, I'm gonna call it what I call it. That same character has an sound, and the only difference is the letter in the middle, the versus the b. How does the sound change from to e? What you got to understand, what they're doing there, that's psychological. This is why I tell y'all ancient Hebrew was a consonantal language. It was about vibrations. It wasn't about these vowels. The European languages introduced the vowels because you can play tricks with vowels. You can change meanings with vowels, okay? But when you're dealing straight with the consonant, this is why I did that video, Torah versus tarot. They mean the same thing. But what happened was they put different vowel sounds in there, and tarot is evil, but Torah is good. They're the same thing. They both basically are instruction from beyond. So when you see somebody flipping tarot cards and trying to read energy, they're getting instruction from beyond, just like somebody reading the Torah. One is static, the other one is dynamic. That's the only difference. But people, they allow their minds to be deceived. But meanwhile, the guy that told you that, he got a tarot reader on staff. Telling me, hey, look into this person right here and tell me what's going on with him. Y'all got to understand these things, okay? It's a tool. What are you using it for? Are you using it for good? Are you using it for evil? But getting back to this other thing, it was psychological for them to change that name or that sound from Abba to Ima when it was really Ama. You got to raise that palate. Is a high vibration. When you make the sound, you're raising your palate to make that sound. Produces a beautiful sound. When you go E is like E is low vibrational. So what you're doing is you have taken and put the woman down underneath the man when they're supposed to be partners. When they're supposed to be right here. People don't want to hear that truth. A lot of guys get mad at me for saying that. I'm like, no, we're partners. I did that whole video breaking down the problem with modern relationships and modern marriages. They have taken, the system has taken a seventh house. The seventh house is the house of partnership in astrology. They've taken a seventh house function and made it a second house function. The second house is where our possessions live. So it's like, hey, this is I'm the head over you. You do what I tell you to do. It ain't even supposed to be like that. It's about roles. It is about roles. It's a partnership. In a partnership, everybody's got a role to play. Okay, that head coach got a role to play. You would look at that head coach as the leader of that team, but he ain't the leader on the field. All he can do is call the plays. He cannot execute the plays. The coach calls in that play. Guess what? That quarterback is running that play. That quarterback on that field, he see that defense shifting. He like, in that microphone, he like, hey, coach, we can't run that play. I'm gonna call an audible. Omaha 52, Omaha 52. He know that coach over here, who's the leader of the team, called a play in, but he's on the field and he's responsible for getting that in the end zone, not that coach. That coach giving him a suggestion, but he says, I see something different. If I run that play, they're gonna come in here and blitz me. We gonna end up losing yards instead of gaining them. So it is about a partnership. When he changes that play and gets a first down or a touchdown, you think when he go to that sideline, the coach gonna be like, damn it, why ain't you run the play I called? That coach ain't gonna have his job long if that quarterback talks to the owner. He like, look, I'm winning football games, and this guy steady up my A crooked letter, mad because I'm changing the play, but he's calling a bad play. Who making money for that owner, that player on the field, or that coach? That's how that works. So you got to understand that partnership. It's like, hey, you know what? That was a great audible you called there. I'm glad you did it. Whew. All right. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board now, get with my offensive coordinator and figure out the next time we play this team, these are their tendencies. So we're going to give you some better plays the next time when you ain't got to call that audible. Because he could also get in his ego and call an audible and say, I don't like that play. I'm going to change the play. He didn't run the play that the coach told him to do, and he made a mistake, and they lost the football. So it's about a partnership. A partnership is about understanding. But what this system did was they took that seventh house and made it a function of the second house and the fifth house. The fifth house is about romance, passion. You ain't going to marry everybody you got a passion with because they may not be a good partner for you. But they say, are you in love? I'm in love. Let's get married. Okay, what type of partner are you going to be? We don't do that anymore because they drove that wedge between. And now that man, he ain't got to go ask that daddy, hey, listen, I find favor with your daughter. I would like to make your daughter my spouse, my partner, my wife. What for? What do y'all want to do? We're going to produce good seed together. We're going to extend this kingdom together. She has a mind for this. I got a mind for that. When we put it together, we're going to make riches. We're going to extend the kingdom. You the granddaddy now. You the granddaddy, any kids we have. That's going to make your name great. Okay, boom, let's do it. Or I'm going to marry your daughter. Why? Because I'm in love with her. She pretty. She got fatty. Okay, she got fatty. That's the only reason I want to marry my daughter. She got fatty. Well, yeah, she got fatty, and everybody like her. And I wanted to be with me. Okay, you got a job? No. Okay, so that means you're gonna be asking me for money to help you take care of my. Well, if I'm still taking care of my daughter and you married to her, then why are you married to her? No, you can't marry my daughter. You come back here, I'm gonna put my sons on you, and you're gonna leave here in a worse shape than you came in. But that went away when they drove this wedge between us. So now they're doing it energetically and they're keeping that going. My mother talks about it all the time. New York. Hey, young girl, you get pregnant, we'll give you all kind of money, government. We'll give you all kind of money, but guess what? If the baby daddy at the house, we can't give you nothing. Oh, okay, well then, no, you can't be over here right now, all right? Why not? Well, because I can't get no check if you over here. See, these games they play. So now that child growing up, he ain't got that advantage of having that strength of the house in there too, in addition to the glue of the house. So now the glue trying to be the glue and the strength, and the kids confused because see how that works. So and I'm not taking listen. Shout out to anybody that's out there doing it. There's a lot of people doing it, and they're doing a great job of it but they're doing it by the grace of the Most High, and they're doing it because they have a will and they don't give up. But getting back to this whole thing of the interesting timing of her coming out and during these different moon phases and these different numerological patterns at number 13, when you put that 13, you reduce that numerologically, that has to deal with the emotions. Guess what? 1 and 3 equals 4. 4 is the fourth house. That's the house of home, family, and emotions. It's ruled by Cancer, which is ruled by the moon.
Wow.
So that 13 comes right
Mhm.
back to the moon.
Comes back to the moon.
These people know what they're doing.
You
That
know
was some great
exactly what
work
they're
you
doing.
did, Bernadette. That was some
Mhm.
great work you did.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was inspired because I felt that once I released this video, this would be the turning point of my ministry. That's what I felt.
Y'all listen. I don't tell anybody to. What's up, Allie? She says she got in late. Listen, I don't tell nobody to. I don't tell anybody to subscribe to anybody's channel. I tell you go check it out. Once you check it out, you'll make that decision for yourself. It only took me watching that one video to become a subscriber. Why? Because not only was the information solid, but Bernadette, your passion came through. Your energy came through. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. There's a lot of people on here running their mouth that don't know what they're talking about, but you can tell she has a passion for what it is that she's doing. And you're doing it well. You're doing it well.
Thank
You
you.
you you won over a harsh critic because I'm like, I get a lot of people that say, "Hey, check this out," and a lot of it, honestly, those of y'all now. Again, I get a lot of videos. I can't always get to them all at the same time, but for the people that's a part of this family, this Maddie's Rap or Matt D Talbot channel that come to all of the lives, every recommendation has been solid. So I really express gratitude and give thanks to the Most High for the people that follow this channel because y'all are sharp. I learn a lot from y'all. I do. I learn. And as much as I give what I know to you guys sharing what you know with me only helps to enhance. It's synergy, y'all. It's synergy, and it's beautiful. So let me ask you this before we go, Bernadette. Do
Yes.
you have any other social media uh, outlets that you want people to follow you on? X, formerly Twitter, or what do you call it? Instagram or anything like that? TikTok.
Well, I have an X account and an Instagram account, but I'm not that active. But I
Okay,
do have a Facebook account. I'm
Facebook.
very active on Facebook.
Okay,
A
you
lot
want to
of
put that in the
times,
chat for everybody?
yes, I'll type in my Facebook name because I'm very active on there. And a lot of times that's where I, share, my videos. And I can let people know they can, I uploaded another video. You can check it out. And but I also want to share a testimony of your video that I recommended at the end of my video,
Mm-hmm.
The Return of Divine Feminine. I listened to that video. It was in December of 2022, I believe, when I listened to
Mm-hmm.
that video. And I
Mm-hmm.
was already because I was listening to Vicky Dillard. She around that time she was doing a series on secret money in your womb. And it was a very, very interesting video. Some of the things that you shared tonight, she actually shared in that series. And
Interesting.
it was then that I was started getting curious about the divine feminine because all before I was thinking, I was told, had the impression divine feminine was something wicked, pagan, goddess worship. And then I heard her talking about it, and that's when I began to be curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came across your video about is divine feminine foretold in the Bible, it's Bible prophecy. Then I was really intrigued. And when I listened to it and I heard you speak of Rachel weeping for her children, but it was the spirit of El, spirit of Yah, spirit of God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I must say that just touched my soul.
Oh, thank
And I
you.
had to
Thank you.
stop the video and just cry like a baby because I said, there she is.
Mm-hmm.
There she is in the scriptures. Yah
Mm-hmm.
is feminine also. The Most High is feminine also.
Yes.
And it was showing her in her, her great motherly love for her children, weeping
Mm-hmm.
for her children.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
just touched me in such a
Mm-hmm.
profound way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you that is why that land has not been at rest. I read
Right.
that came from Baruch chapter 4 in
Yes.
the Apocrypha.
Mm-hmm.
And that land, people don't get it. They don't get
Mm-hmm.
it. They see them people over there, and they just don't understand that that land is not going to be at rest until her
Right.
children have been returned.
Right. Right.
They've not returned. You got a few people walking around here and there, but a lot of what they have been importing in from, and it's no offense to anybody watching, but I always tell everybody use the eye test. When you dealing with Ethiopia, you are dealing with Upper Egypt from ancient times. That was Upper Egypt, okay? The Nile Delta, that's Lower Egypt.
Lower.
Okay. Upper Egypt from the ancient times is the area of modern day Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia. And I even talked about that in another video. I was talking about the Giaz alphabet and the language that the Ethiopians use today and the character set, and how the language spoken is Giaz, and how that's the same vibration as Giza, or the pyramids of Giza, Giza, Giz, Giz, Giza. It's the same energy, same vibration. The people are different now in Lower Egypt, and they get angry when you tell them that the ancient Egyptians look like you and me.
Right.
They get angry with that, but the truth is the truth. Okay. And as my homegirl, she ain't on here tonight, says, the truth don't need no proof. You know what I'm saying? So here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. I've been saying this for the longest, and people get rubbed the wrong way. But when you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and the prophecy has been shown to you, listen, this is why a lot of the ancient prophets were burdened, Bernadette, and why they were such heavy on the wine bottle. It's like when and a lot of the ancient prophets smoked weed too. They just you don't hear that, but they got that bud from the field. And if you know what you're looking at in scripture, you know exactly what they were pulling up out of that field. In the book of Esdras, first and second Esdras in the Apocrypha, the angel tells him what to go and pull out of the field and eat it to be in an induced state to get these visions that he needed to go and write down. So, but the point I'm getting is a lot of them were heavy wine drinkers because they were burdened by the visions that they were given for what was coming. And it's like, you can tell the people, but they look at you like you're crazy until it happens.
Until it happens.
And then it's like, hey, where's such and such? Nah, they ain't there. Bernadette ain't there. She was telling y'all why all that time she was there. She was trying to tell. Now y'all looking for her, and she bounced. She's like, I'm out, deuces. I'm moving on to the next thing I got to do. I ain't got time for y'all. I poured into y'all for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. And y'all weren't listening. I told you, y'all called me crazy. Now this stuff is coming around. You ain't looking so crazy now, are you? I look at all of the friends I lost in 2020 and people just talking bad about me because of what I saw about these different individuals now who are now being brought up in different countries looking for them for the lies that they told in 2020. And I told people back then they were lying. This is why they don't like people with these water placements in their chart. You got heavy Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. They tend to shy away from them people because they're like, oh man, they just being emotional, whatever. No, water is life. Water is feminine energy. Water is how you see. So these people see these things and they tell you, so here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. These people that's running the world now, they ain't gonna be running the world no more. Y'all might as well get y'all head right. I've been telling y'all for a minute, this is the end of so-called white rule on this planet. Okay? And for the folks that's in a land that and people argue about the location. Well, that ain't the location of Israel. And listen,
I don't buy that.
I can't buy it. It does not resonate. Wherever you don't want me and you put all types of systems in place to keep me from there, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
I wrote an article on my blog, The Parable of the Extraordinary Bicycle. When somebody steals a bicycle, they show it to everybody else but the person who can identify it. They don't want you nowhere near that bicycle because you know that's your bicycle. So that land is going to keep the heat on this whole planet, going to keep turning up. It's happening here in the U.S. too. Why? Because these are the ancient lands that the Northern Kingdom roamed through. They scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. But you're seeing all of these different Egyptian artifacts and stuff all over the desert Southwest of the United States. You're seeing these different things. So the thing is, this is the divine timing for these things to start taking place. These cosmic alignments is coming now. This is just the beginning, and this is January. Do you see how fast everything is moving, Bernadette?
Yes, and this energy is feeling strange. I just feel so strange. You know,
it is. You feel it coming. You can't see it, but that was prophesied by the Messiah. He said, when you feel, what was that scripture? It's in the book of Matthew. He said, when you see that the leaves are beginning to bud or something like that, you know that summer is nigh. That's right. That's right. So The thing is, we're seeing the signs and we're feeling. When you go outside, listen, we got snow a few days ago.
Yes, we did too.
I didn't see it in the forecast because the forecast didn't show it. But guess what? When I was outside, because of my history living in New York, I was like, this smells and feels like snow is coming. And lo and behold, here came the snow later in that afternoon, that evening. So those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, they know something's coming. They feel it. They feel it in their spirit. They can't see it, but they know. If you know something's coming, you feel that, it's because you tapped in. And it's a bunch of people running around like it ain't nothing happening. You look at all the people 5 years ago that were saying, oh, well, you know, when COVID is over, we're going to be.
Normalcy is over.
How does that sound? Like, you know, well, you know, when this 911 thing over with, listen, before 9/11, you could accompany your family member all the way up to the gate of that plane.
Right.
All the way up to that door. Young people being born today don't know. They wouldn't even know what that looks like. You didn't have to go through no security checkpoint. You checked your bags and you walk with your family member all the way up to that gate. And you needed that ticket to get on that plane. If you ain't had no ticket, you couldn't get on. They put all of that stuff in place after 9/11. You ain't never since been able to get past the security if you ain't got a ticket.
Going to these new normals, as they call them.
No, the enemy don't take nothing away from you and then give it back.
No.
He comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Exactly.
You ever seen anybody that runs somebody out of their land say, okay, you can have your land back now? That ain't how it works.
That's not how it
works. But guess who won't make that land come back? He said in the scripture, I'm going to turn your captivity back right before your eyes.
Exactly.
That means we're going to see it happen.
Right.
Look at all these people coming out now saying who's who. I've been saying for years, if your pastor, I ain't telling you don't go to church. I'm saying if your pastor ain't preaching and teaching prophecy and identity, you're wasting your time in there. Identity, prophecy is what's coming. Identity is who's getting what.
Right.
That's all that matters now. The book is almost done. The book is almost done. There's some new books waiting that's coming with this new age. This is why I tell people, I hear people, well, these certain people that wear the little hats and the big round black hats, they still arguing, calling people crazy, talking about, no, you guys are just in search of an identity. We get it. You want an identity of your own because you've never been anybody, but you know, you're Gentiles and you know, we're the okay. What the scripture say? The scripture saying, I believe it's Isaiah chapter 63. I tell people, I reference them. I say, go to Isaiah chapter 63. Stop arguing with people over the name Israelite. That's going away. He said, I'm going to give you a new name that's going to be spoken out of my mouth, which tells you a couple of things. Number one, that name went with an old system that's going away.
Right.
That's the old earth that's passing away. But number two, the Most High already knows the name that's coming for his chosen ones. But he said, if I put it in that book now, the very ones that stole this name from them going to take that one too.
Exactly.
So I can't tell you. I'm going to name them when I show up and reset everything. The reset's coming. I hear him talking about, oh yeah, man, everything's moving to a new digital. You know, make sure you got crypto. I'm like, what world are y'all planning to live in? I ain't going to be in it. I ain't going to be in it. The scripture said the love of money is the root of all evil. So guess what? If you get rid of money, then you ain't got that root to love, do you? That's how you get rid of the problem. I remember, I'm gonna share this story and I'm gonna get ready to let y'all go. When I was a kid, Long Beach, New York, me and my brother, we played ball just like all the other kids in the neighborhood where we grew up, and it was baseball back then. That was the thing back then. The Yankees were like, everybody in New York was a Yankees fan. And so the local town where I lived there, they had a recreational baseball league, and we found out about it late. So there was one team that had one position left. It was the Bears. It was the Bears there in Long Beach, and all the kids back in the 70s was watching the Bad News Bears. So if you saw Bears, you're like, man, I want to be in a team. I can play, you know. And they had one position left. So they sent the application around, and it came to our house, and it was like, hey, all right, hey y'all, they got one spot. One of y'all want to play? I want to play. Then my older brother, Scorpio, he want to play. And I don't know. I'm like, no, I said first. He's like, nah, but I'm the oldest. So we going back and forth. Then my dad did. He called his sister, who had one son and three daughters, and he said, tell your son it's a spot for the baseball team. He said, because y'all can't make up y'all mind who should play, neither one of you gonna play.
Oh no.
But what did that do? That was the right call. I'm gonna tell you why. That took away that love, that that the strife was gone when there wasn't no position left now.
Mm-hmm.
And it went to the person who he ain't had nobody to argue with. It was just him.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to have a great career. He left-handed. He pitched. He ended up getting a scholarship to pitch in college and everything. And he didn't make it to the pros, but he carried that decision to take that away from us and give it to him, carried him all the way from childhood into college. Got him a college education. But I never forgot that. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? We don't want to. It's your fault I ain't get to play no joke. But now looking back, that was a lesson learned that was like the wisdom of Solomon. That was almost like when Solomon, where the two women were arguing over the baby, and Solomon said, I tell you what,
yes,
cut the baby in half. You take one half, you take the other one. The other one said, well, fine. He knew then that wasn't the mother. Because the real mother said, look, if you got to kill my baby to settle this, then just let her have him. And he knew who the mother was and gave the mother to the one that said, just let her have him.
Right.
That's how he knew. So that's divine wisdom, right? And divine wisdom is divine feminine energy, okay?
Divine feminine.
So wisdom,
it can be on women and men.
That's right. Anybody can have it, but wisdom is a product of the sixth chakra, and the sixth chakra is a feminine chakra.
It's feminine.
Yep. When you using your voice and you're not afraid to use it, you're in your masculine energy.
Right.
If you giving somebody a hug or you showing love, you doing something to nurture somebody, you in your feminine energy. I don't care if you masculine or feminine. Okay. When you standing on business, you in your masculine energy. Okay.
Right.
If you're creating something, you're in your feminine energy. I don't care if you're coming up with a brand new recipe. That the act of you coming up with a new recipe, that's feminine. That's not masculine. It is what it is. So this has been good, Bernadette. We're gonna have to wrap this up. But listen, y'all, I'm gonna put the link to the video in there one more time. I want y'all to check this video out, y'all. Bernadette was like, Bernadette just solidified why you want a Scorpio on your team and not on the other team going against you. All right. Especially if they're high vibrational. Now, if you're low vibrational, then you're probably in some self-sabotage energy, because a lot of Scorpios have to outgrow that too. You gotta outgrow that low vibration. This is why I tell people all the time, Scorpio has the ability to transform darkness into light. But because the enemy knows that, the enemy attacks Scorpio energy, because if they can turn darkness into light, then they can turn light into darkness. So you have to learn to master your energy when you have Scorpio placements. You have to learn to master it, because it is powerful energy. But if you don't keep your vibrations in a high state, it can be volatile. You can hurt yourself with it and others. So I love talking to a high vibrational Scorpio. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It was a pleasure too. And thank you so much, Brother Matt, for inviting me.
It was an honor, Bernadette. And I got you. I've subscribed to your channel. So I'll be looking for some more coming out.
Yes, I have more.
And listen, if there's something else that's coming out that's popping, I'm gonna invite you back on here.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again.
All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna drop you from the stage, and I'm gonna go ahead and read some comments, and we're gonna wrap up, family. Y'all, thank y'all. Listen, give a round of applause for Bernadette. Put a hand clap emoji in the chat. Let's do a hand clap emoji, because y'all really gonna clap. Y'all really want to comment on that video when you watch it, because that video opened my eyes to some stuff. I didn't even know that she came back and walked back her accusation. Okay. I didn't even know she had walked back that accusation. So let me read here. Let's see what we got here. Awesome. Doesn't look like we got a lot of comments there. Beauty of Core Physics said, born on a Sunday, Palm Sunday, in fact. She said, exhaled by the sun. Is this why? Probably so. Probably so. Beauty of Core, the elements, just because that Black Americans were the most married demographic before the Civil Rights Movement. Wow. How about that? How about that? Just because. Beauty of Core Physics said, Mother Earth, Mother Mary. Okay, I can jive with it. Just because said you cannot highly chocolate people from no or low chocolate. Exactly. Dr. Ben, Joe Can. Tor Girl said, I agree. I started out studying it, and when I found out I got that, changed it to Ema. Yep, it's no longer Ama. Yep. Ali Rule, let's see. That's why the rib, even equal, she is of God, and equal rib is heart chakra. Hello. Talk about that, Beauty of Core Physics. I like that. Let's see. Thank you both, and we'll go back and listen from the beginning. I gave y'all Bernadette's Facebook. Make like water means even more now. Yup. The fires made this new year start off to a lot of change. Yup. She said your dad showed the wisdom of Solomon in that baseball story. Exactly. Sure did, just because. I love my dad. We've had our moments. We've had our moments, especially in adulthood. But I wouldn't trade my dad for the world. He's good people. He's good people. And I always say everybody gets to be them. It took me. I was 36. I think it was after my 36th birthday that I finally made the connection that I cannot expect everybody to do things the way I would do them because everybody's created differently. And now that I understand astrological charts, I get it that much even more. So speaking of astrological charts, I'm going to drop that one more time, y'all. If you want help with your natal chart, and especially, I'm running a special right now, especially your North Node. What am I here to do? How can I do it? Hit me up, y'all. Email me. I want to help. I want to help. Email me. That's my passion right now. I'm seeing a lot of people turn around, including myself. It started with me. When I really, and I've been looking at my North Node for a while, when I really figured out what the whole stream meant, from the sign to the degrees, the minutes, all of that stuff, the houses, and was able to put all of that together, my waypoint is set. I'm moving forward. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. I want to help you arrive at that too. So y'all send me an email. Don't follow up. Nobody ain't no comment saying, hey, I'm Matt. Nah, email me, okay? That's the only way I'm ever going to talk to you. So I got it, family. Listen, thank y'all for being here tonight. I love each and every one of you guys. If you have not done so, please hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up on your way out the door. And if you're new to the channel and you like being entertained, educated, uplifted, inspired, definitely entertained, because I'm dropping a little musical stuff for y'all right now. I got another short. I did another car bars video. So I'm gonna drop another car bars video for y'all. You got it, Allie. My pleasure. I'm gonna drop another car bars video for y'all. This next one I'm gonna give you. Next one I did a little bit of Luther Vandross. So I hope y'all like it. But I'm enjoying doing those. I'm enjoying sharing those with y'all. So I got another car bars video coming out for y'all. So definitely entertained, educated, uplifted, and inspired. Hit that subscribe button and make sure your notification bell is set to all. Don't just turn it on, because this platform, they be tripping on some of these truth channels. So make sure that notification bell is set to all so that you'll be notified when I upload new content. And last but not least, y'all, I say it all the time, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it, okay? Love is a verb. It's a noun as well. But when we focus on the verb, the noun always takes care of itself. She said, on my way to Albany, my dad is in the high. Okay. Oh, okay. Y'all definitely will send a prayer out for you. Beauty of Core Physics. Definitely, y'all send a prayer up for Beauty of Core Physics as she's traveling to go see her dad in the hospital. So y'all send a prayer up. And thank y'all for being here tonight. Bernadette, thank you again. Y'all are amazing. I love each and every one of you guys. I will see you guys back on, most high willing, I will see you guys back on Sunday with that video that I talked about. And I don't even remember what it is now because it's getting late. All right. And I'm getting ready to go to bed. All right. So I love you guys. Take care. Peace.